Hello, it's Henry Lowengaard again with a little bit more strange stuff you can do with one of these iridescent nightingales. Here's an iridescent nightingale. Oh look, I've taken the cord bars off, and look at that. The movable bridge I have moved to exactly halfway on each string, roughly. All right, roughly. And what does that mean? Well, actually this tail end here, this has a little damper on it to keep it from having unfortunate effects. But I actually wanted to have unfortunate effects, so I've moved it way to the end so that it's not too bad, and loosened it a little bit so that the strings can actually vibrate a tiny bit more than normal. But when you put a string exactly in half, it means that you end up with two strings that are tuned together, but they're an octave higher. So, and what's the cool thing about acoustics is that strings that are tuned the same and are in the same acoustic environment will sympathetically resonate with any note that happens to match that tune. So for example, there's a nice note. I don't even know what it is because I didn't feel like tuning these anymore. Ooh, ooh. Well, you can hear it a little bit. I sounded like a sick moose. But at any rate, because you can put the cord bars in normally over here on this big fat piece of Velcro. But guess what? There's a tiny little piece of Velcro here used for putting on chord messages or something, note names, and I'm going to stick this here. Doesn't really take much Velcro to hold it on. Plus, of course, the main thrust on this is not left or right or up or down. It's Z. It's toward the thing here. So now I have got a bunch of chords on a bunch of damped strings, which sound kind of like a light pluck, and a whole bunch of sympathetic strings above. Oops, I noticed I just put this on upside down, so you were going to get some minor chords. That's a whole other thing that you can do with this that you can't do with the normal auto harp chord setup. So let me put this back on right side up, because you'll get two demos instead of just one demo. So now we're going to go with just one demo. So here. Yeah, you can't see it, but I'm damping. I damped it so much the cord bars came off. All right. Well, you know, maybe I'll stick some more Velcro on there if I feel like doing this trick more than once. No, it has to go like that and like this. Oh yeah. A little dangerous, but that's what happens when you're filming. So. It's off a little bit. Yeah. It's hard to reach that tiny bit of Velcro that's holding it on. But, yeah. So, what happens when you do this? You get a little bit of grandfather's clock there, but you can hear how just a simple pluck here keeps going, even though I damped the string that I just plucked. Even though you can't see it, you have to believe me because I'm telling the truth. And so that's a really great sound. Not useful for every possible song. But on the other hand, another thing is that this guy has a pickup built into it. It's not a sophisticated pickup, it's just a piezo kind of pickup, and that means you can run through some effects, like this from my friend Igor Vasilyev. Yeah. Woo! This is a big pile of effects called Vintage Rack, which is supposed to sound like a bunch of vintage things. Oh, no wonder this sounds bad. This is like way off. All right. Yeah, that ought to help. Yeah, that's good. melody, eh? I just shut off the effect. Play some Christmas carols, but it's only September. I'm not going to do that trick to you. I know that the Christmas trees have already been out for about 3 weeks, but I'm not going to go there. Well, anyway, that's just one of the weird things you can do with this iridescent Nightingale. I might go and make a second bridge to make this a much better kind of setup. I could move and make these strings more precise. I might do something like find some wood and somehow make a chord bar holder that is only half the size and put one on this side and one on this side. And if you don't make the strings exactly, well, either something is on fire or someone's getting arrested. Yeah. Gee, that's distracting. Sounds like some people are cheering it. What's going on here in my crazy town? Don't move here, all right? Yeah, so you could have this and make it half the size and put one on this side and one on this side, because I actually don't need this many chords. I have a trick for squeezing 2 chords on every chord bar, and I'll talk about that. I've talked about that before. And then I could have a whole bunch of chords that are really different that still are kind of harmonic with each other. Anyway, that's technology for today, and that's the end of my little lecture. So long.